What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Macktown Disc Golf. We're here on a Friday, and we're doing a special video. On Fridays, we have more small videos, disc reviews, stuff like that, but we're going to be starting this series called In the Bag.
Flashing, fresh out the tomb like I'm Lazarus. Hop on the beat, I'm spazzing. Got him in shot like anaphylactic. Ay, they wanna party on crashing. When I pull up my little shawty like that's him.
Every disc golfer ever watches In the Bags because you want to know what everyone is throwing. You want to know the cool discs, all this stuff. So we're going to be doing that with everyone on our team, so don't worry about that. They're all coming, and everyone else really has a mixed bag. For me personally, mine's pretty easy because I am sponsored for 2023 by Prodigy Street Team, and so I have all Prodigy. Easy as that. And so if you're a Prodigy player, if you need tips on your bag, here it is. If you want to give tips to me, feel free. I would love to know what y'all are throwing too. We can always help each other out. But for bags, I love this bag right here. I'm not going to go too in depth on the bag. I'll do a review at some point. But this is the Apex XL bag. This is a pro level bag. It has all the stuff you would ever need. It can hold all the discs you need. It's amazing, amazing, amazing. Can't say enough. I've had grip bags, all the other Prodigy bags. I've had so many different bags. This one's my favorite by far. So let's get into what discs I am throwing right now. First up, let's start with putters. So putting putters, I putt with, like every other person in Prodigy putts with, PA3s. PA3s are amazing discs. They just go dead straight, and at the very end, go a little bit left. I love that about these discs. These are actually the Gannon Burr ones. I have all sorts of plastics. I've had the 350G, I've had 300 soft, I've had all of those. But this one I settled on. This is the Gannon Burr 300 Glow, which for me personally, I love this 300 Glow because the softs are really soft and the 300 is a little hard. So this is kind of the perfect blend where you can still get your thumbs into it. Even when it's cold, you can still really get a good feel on the disc. So really liking these, and hope they bring me good luck this year in tournaments. Next up, another throwing putter. I don't putt with this, but this is the PA3. The PA3, and same disc, but this is the Glow, a different type of Glow though, and this is a great disc. This thing is stable, and if I throw it hard on angle, you'll see this in this video. I throw almost all my discs on hyzer and let the disc do the work for me. So it's a great way to throw, I think personally. But I'll throw this on angle, it'll flip up, ride straight, and then end left for me. So it's a great disc, very reliable in wind, just a reliable approach disc in general. I have some other putters here on the side that I throw. The first one I'm not super sure is going to stay in my bag. This is the PA5. I might try another plastic. This one just beats up really fast, and this thing is just so flippy right now. So if I throw it, you see that in the last video, I throw it on hyzer, it flips all the way over and just rides, which is nice, but I don't want that much understability in it. So it's actually kind of nice for like touchy shots in the woods or whatever, but this kind of go in and out of my bag, I think, with the PA4. So I'm gonna be testing some of those out too. So PA5, nice disc. Let me go to my next disc. This disc has been in my bag so long. It's another PA3, but this one is, I think, one of the best throwing putters of all time. This is the Chris Dickerson PA3. And what this disc does really well, first off, this plastic feels really good. It's stiff, but it's not like hard, if that makes sense. So the rim is like, you're not bending it a bunch, but feels great in the hand. And for me, this is so torque resistant. So I can put so much power behind it on angle, and it'll flip up and just go dead straight. Sometimes if I like really put something on it with a little bit too much ante, it'll flip over, but it usually will just either go straight or to go left at the very end. So just a great straight putter that everyone needs. Next up, kind of like the big brother to that, is the A5. This thing is not understable. It is actually more stable than that PA3, but goes a little bit further. It's a pretty nice disc. The 400 plastic just feels incredible. But when I throw it on angle, it flips up and then ends left hard. And when I throw it flat, it'll kind of just go straight and then end left. And when I throw it on angle, it'll hold that for a little bit and then end left. So stable right now, but hopefully get it beat in. I hope this stays in my bag. I'm not sure if I'll keep it in my bag for all the tournaments I'm playing because it's kind of similar to the PA3, but we'll see. Then next up, I have my like forehand approach. I would call it like my chip shot putter. That's the A2. This is actually the Gannon Burr A2 that for his US DGC. This is the 400 Glimmer, I think it is, or 450 Glimmer, something like that. But pretty much this thing is, it's not as stable as most A2s. So most A2s, you put them on angle and they'll come out and crash. This one, if I put it on angle, it'll like flip up, go for a while, and then come back at the end. But if you put it on hyzer, it'll flip up just a second and then end. So getting used to it a little bit. It's not as stable as I want it to be, but I think that might be a good thing. I just got to kind of learn it a little better. That's it for throwing putters. Let's get into the mid-ranges. Mid-ranges, I only have 3 of them, so this will be easy. The first one is my favorite Prodigy disc. I think it's my favorite Prodigy disc ever. It's the MX1. This thing is the most reliable disc I've ever thrown. It reminds me a lot of a Justice, but the feel of it is incredible. It's very flat, and I can power on this thing. Flat, and it's dumping left. I can give it Annie, and it's gonna quickly get out of that and dump left. I could throw, what I love about this, I can throw forehands. So where that A2 might not be as reliable in like a headwind, I can put this Annie in a headwind, and it's coming back right. So just an amazing disc, utility disc. I use this, you'll see in videos, I use this disc all the time because I love it. It's my favorite. So, staple in my bag. Maybe my signature series. Just kidding, I'm not at that level. The next 2, this is kind of an area I've been trying to figure out in my bag. I think I finally have it figured out. But it's this 750 M3. This thing is just, put it on angle, goes dead straight and then ends a little bit left. This is crucial for woods, really any course. 300 feet, 320 feet, pulling this out, put it on angle, it's going dead straight to the basket, and either going at the basket or it's gonna fade a little bit at the very end. So, great disc. Never really turns on me too much unless there's a super strong headwind, but just a reliable straight disc. The next one, I've been toying with this M4 or this M3. I'm looking for a mid-range that's like a little less stable to where I can put it into something and it will turn. This one right now is doing that well, and it feels very similar to that M3, so I might keep this in my bag over that. Some M4s are stable, some are really flippy, so this one's kind of doing the job of what I wanted that to do. So I'm gonna keep this in my bag for now, but really just, I throw it on angle, it flips up and then slowly goes to the right, and at the very end, we'll come back a little bit. So that's it for my mid-ranges. Let's go to the fairways. Fairways, I have 5 discs here. 2 of them are the same. I have 2 FX2s. If you don't have one of these in your Prodigy, I don't know what you're doing. This is such a reliable disc. This one's 500, this one's 500. This one's kind of like a glimmery, shiny plastic. A little more stable than this one, but they're both extremely stable. You can really just punch on this thing and it'll go straight for a while and then always end left. I like this one for 300 foot, 320 feet, where I need to skip left. I'll throw this through the gap and let this thing just do its job. It'll go left for sure. This one I'm using mainly for forehands right now, so really working that in. It has a little bit of a grippier top than that one, so I like it more for forehands, but yeah, still working it into the bag, really liking the FX2. It's a great, reliable disc. Not for beginners though. All right, next disc, the next 2 discs actually. I have an FX4 and an FX3. My FX4 is actually more stable than my FX3. This one's my go-to fairway driver pretty much. It's very similar to my M3, just, you know, goes a little bit further. Put it on angle, flips up, never really goes too far right, just kind of rides that line and then ends a little bit left. So, reliable disc. You need this disc for woods and anything like that. This is going like 400 feet, kind of just on that line. So, maybe a little less than 400, but it's a great disc. This one is, for some reason, this is one of my favorite feeling discs. Like, it feels just amazing. The FX3, but this one I'll put on hyzer to flip up and kind of go a little bit, like way more right than the FX4, and then it'll come back at the end. So it's a great disc. I think it has a place in my bag for sure. I'm just not throwing it as much as the FX4 because the FX4 is doing what I thought this disc would do. So yeah, FX3. Then my last disc, I used to throw F5s. I love F5s, they feel great. But I found a disc that is kind of doing the job of that. I don't know if it's supposed to, but it does. This is the F3. That's right, an F3, and this thing is flippy. This thing is one of the flippiest discs in my bag. I put this on the same amount of hyzer, this thing will flip up and go right and go right and go right and never come back. Put it on flat, it'll slowly turn into a roller. So this disc is awesome for woods. Gonna be in my bag for a while. If this gets too beat up, I'll probably just put an F5 in, but don't know why this one is flippier than a lot of my other discs that are supposed to be more flippy, but it's a great disc. I'm gonna use this a ton. Gonna be in my bag for ever. Next up, let's go to the H series real fast. I got 3 of those. I've been really loving the H3V2s. I didn't think I would really like them as much because it's a very shallow disc. But like I played in the tournament the other day, and it was a 420-foot hole, a little bit downhill, and like the touchdown hill. And I just gave this hyzer, and it flipped up through this tunnel, went all the way down, went a little bit right, and then came back left. I did that. I played 2 rounds of this tournament and did it twice. It's perfect disc for that 400-foot distance for me, dead straight. And it lands really nice, lands flat, doesn't, bounce at the end. This one's just the same disc, just honestly a little less stable, I think. It's a 400 plastic, 500 plastic, sorry. But yeah, really great compliment to this one. They work in tandem. H3V2, I would highly recommend that disc to any Prodigy players. Then the last H disc I have is the H7. This disc is crazy. It is a utility disc for sure. Very, very understable, but it has a ton of glide. You can see the dome on this thing is wild. Would be a great beginner disc. You put this thing on hyzer, it's like, for me, I put this thing on hyzer and it flips and keeps going right. Just keeps going right. If I put it flat, it just turns into a roller and rolls forever. If I can do it forehand too, where I throw it on hyzer and it'll flip over and kind of turn into a roller. Or I can go crazy and hyzer and let it kind of slowly coast all the way to the right. But it never comes back. That's just how it rolls. So H7, highly recommend, especially beginners, but roller disc, that's what I'm using it for. Let's get to our drivers, folks. This is a big part of my bag. I love throwing drivers, believe it or not. I have my most used disc right now. I think that's gonna change, but this D1, this Gannon-Burr D1, I use this thing for a lot of forehands. It's very stable, where if I put it on hyzer, it just hyzers out. So I can force this over forehand and trust that at the very end it's gonna come back. I can put this on Annie and trust at the very end it's gonna come back. And it's just a reliable disc. I really like this for backhand, for over trees where I need the spike. I can just crank on this and know that it's gonna go left. So really useful disc in my bag. You'll see me throw that a lot this year in videos and whatnot. Next up is kind of a little bit understable version of that. It's not really understable, it's still overstable, but less stable than that is the Reverb. Kevin Jones, you've outdone yourself with this disc. I love it. It's pretty much a D1, just a little touch more understable. And I love it, man. Anything I need to just push straight and then end left, I need it to end left. I'll put this thing flat and it'll just go, end left. Great disc. I can do the hyzer thing. I can throw this forehand. One of my most used discs for sure. I love it. Reverb. I'm trying to get a couple of these, so I want to beat this one in to where it'll flip up a little more, then I get a different one. So really liking the Reverb. I've been really rocking with these D2s. This is 400G plastic, and this thing is not quite my max distance driver, but I can really get a hold of these, and I throw it on that angle, it'll flip up, ride right for a while, and then come back hard left. So great disc. I actually ordered 2 more of these to kind of filter into my bag with this. I think it's going to be one of my most used drivers for like big distance. I need to come back left. Speaking of big distance, let's get into the final ones here. I have 2 D3s. These are my max distance drivers. This one is, I haven't even thrown this one yet. I'm expecting it to be more overstable than this one. But this D3 does a lot of work for me on big courses. I will just put this thing on hyzer and it'll flip up, ride right for a long time, and then come back. I mean, 500 feet is definitely reachable. I've done it a few times with this. So yeah, I'm really liking it. If I can put on these huge lines to the left where I'll start left and it'll cook right. You can really get a hold of these ones. And so D3s will always be in my bag for sure. And then my final disc, D4. I have not thrown this. Let me just say that. I have not thrown this disc. I have no idea what it's gonna do, but it's a D4 Max, and the die is really cool. I got this from the used section, and so really cool disc. Has a big rim, so I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I'm expecting this to kind of be a little more flippy than that D3, where I can really get a hold of something on an Annie line and just let it carry all the way over. Or I can throw rollers with this for a long time. So D4 Max, don't know if this will stay in my bag. Maybe it will if I haven't even thrown it yet, so we'll see about it. But that's it for my in the bag. If you're a Prodigy thrower and you want to know anything about this, make sure you leave a comment. If you want to leave a comment and say, hey, I've been throwing this disc, I really like it, feel free to do that. I would love to hear from you guys about Prodigy, because I love me some Prodigy. I'll tell you what, I'm excited for this season. This might change, some of these things might change, but mainly this is going to be my bag for the year. I'm excited to see how I do with it. So make sure, we got a video coming out Tuesday, so make sure you watch that video, and then we got some more in the bags on the way. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you share this with somebody else. We love you. We'll catch you next time. Mwah.
Bright light, flashing. Fresh out the tomb like I'm Lazarus. Hop on the beat, I'm spazzing. Got him in shot like anaphylactic. Ayy, they wanna party on crashing. When I pull up my little shawty like that's him. Ayy, link with the source, I'm tapped in. Whole new world, Aladdin. Rappers is Disney. Clean them up swiftly. Floors on cocaine, floors on Whitney. I don't play no games, better come get me. Used to bump trip, leave